Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where I'm getting you from. Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna do a study in a bit. Trying to finish off, round out these last few studies before I get to 100. So I'm gonna work on this today, but we're gonna take a look and see what people have been up to on the Drawtober challenge on the Huckleberry server. And then I've got some announcements for later. So, making breakfast. That's smart. I was just doing that. I was biking home from coffee, just plowing my way through traffic on the bike at unsafe speeds. I watched an old man almost get run over by a green Mustang. And then I got home and I ate eggs and kimchi over rice. Delicious breakfast. Protein shake. Kanji, huh? Arcane Cluster, hello. Drinking green tea. Smart choice. So my plan for today was to wake up early, like I always do. Work on some admin stuff, get caught up. Got a few tasks that are just kind of like calling out to me. Big ones, stressful ones. They've been putting off. I was like, today's the day where I'm going to get rid of these, and I'll go into the weekend clean. And so what I did instead was I downloaded Super Mario Wonder. I farted around the house for a little bit. I decided to go for a bike ride if I was going to waste my time anyway. Got caught halfway through it, pulled into a coffee, and now I'm back, having just had breakfast and gotten almost nothing done. The problem I've been dealing with is I've been working on and off throughout the day, and so I have this like sort of 3-phase day where I'm waking up early, working, then taking a break, then I get in the afternoon, do some work, take another break, and then I get back in and I'm working late. So I finished up a study last night, like late, and then I went almost straight to bed. And then I woke up and I was like trying to sit at my desk again. You know, when you go from your office to bed and then you just wake up and go immediately to your office, like you can do that a couple of days in a row, but when you're on like the 3rd or 4th day of it, it gets tough. So I just like, I bailed on it. And this is what happens to me. This is what my Fridays feel like now is I push throughout the week. I try to take the weekends off, but I start to get that buildup of exhaustion that sort of starts to hit around Friday. So I'm running, I was running at half speed, but you know, I feel really good still. Tough for me to sit and do the tough work, but it's easy for me to hang out and do some drawing and whatnot. I'm looking forward to doing another study. And I'm looking forward to like having this stuff clear. I think I'm gonna get it done today anyway. I just couldn't bring myself to take the morning for it. So, you know, I got some healthy time in, some bike time, some sunshine, some friend time, all really good stuff. And now I'm here doing a study, hanging out with you guys, great stuff. So, yeah, and then I'm gonna get to the shit that I've been putting off after I'm done with this, and then I can really like log out for the day. You know what I mean by log out. So we're gonna, you know, and then I'm gonna have a bit of a weekend. Got a friend who's asking me if I want to throw down in Tekken. I said, yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's not off topic. Yeah, thank you. Glad you like my stuff. I'm planning on you know, maybe in the future, sharing more of me working on my mainline work here on the channel. I did a little bit of that this week. And it had some ups and downs. I'm figuring my way through it. And we'll be taking some more shots at it next month, I think. So, with that in mind, let's take a look and see real quick. What do we got? I'm tagged in the general channel. Uh-oh. Oh, it's Dustin. Tagging me onto discussion. Oh, do yourself a favor. This was funny. What is it? There was a question about like, hey, how do I justify selling my artwork for like $50 to $100? You know, like it just doesn't feel like me selling a piece of paper with my art on it would be worth it. So my answer to this question to people was, I said, go onto the Target website and look up how much it costs to buy a live, laugh, love sign for your living room, and then just price it the same as that. And like the truth is that a lot of home decoration costs between $50 and $100. And so if you're going to go buy a Live, Laugh, Love sign, you're probably going to be in for 50 to $100. And like to say that you are worth less than a like rustic wood Live, Laugh, Love sign that they're selling in Target is kind of preposterous. It's poppycock. So yeah, so I tell people, you know, just instead of trying to measure yourself against some sort of abstract sense of value, measure yourself apples to apples with some of the dumbest shit that is sold today, and you know, that's how you judge yourself. So I guess this conversation is coming up again. This is one of my favorite little ways of getting people to reframe the way that they look at their work. So yeah, I wanted to look at the challenge finals, see who's we're keeping up on Drawtober. I am dude. We're trying to figure out. I had done this drawing here with this giant pumpkin man eating a trick-or-treater who's got those like close-fitting pajamas. Oh, just sold a 5x7 ink and watercolor for $80 last weekend. Man, it's affordable. Hey, Nexty. And he's got his like, you know, those pajamas with like the flap in the butt. And there was some sort of debate about, you know, what is the flap called? Poop flap seems to be agreed upon as maybe the scientific definition of it. I was saying the mud hatch could be an option. Drop seat. Mud flap. I feel like mud flaps are something else though. I mean, maybe it's like used for too much stuff. Dustin says doo-doo door. I like the alliteration. Catching up on Drawtober. So we've only got a couple of posts for Drawtober going on. Not a lot to look at. I'm going to get back to the challenges here on Huckleberry starting next month. The doors of hell or heaven, depending on who you are. Yeah, where the dude eats his own son. Yeah, this is Saturn devouring his son tribute, but with candy. Yeah, if you want to check out there's a lot of Drawtober over on their Discord. There is a fantastic number of posts for all this stuff. The pumpkin guy I did was for devious dining, and every single one of these entries has just a tremendous, every one of these prompts is a tremendous number of entries, and a lot of them are really good. So it's definitely worth checking out and see what other people are up to. We're now on the last day of Moonlit Conservatory, so I need to get in there and do it. But I'm not going to draw on stream today. So I'm going to do my study on stream today, and then I'm going to draw off stream tonight. My plan is tonight, once I get into my evening mode, I'm going to, rather than log out, I'm going to like pop in, do a pencil drawing, go to her bed, get it done, post it, and move on to Dolls in the Attic. We're like, I've gotten halfway through it, and now I'm like, I could dump out halfway, but I don't want to. I want to be a good boy. I want to do one of these hashtag challenges for the first time ever, while also keeping up with my own challenges. And it's been yeah, a challenge. And then also keep up with my mainline work. I'm also working on this thing, The Lover. Uriel Angel of Flame is out here firing Cupid's arrow, and also you know, he's firing all kinds of arrows. I do like to keep it busy. My my vision for October was sort of like, I was in an MMO, and I was doing a bunch of side quests all at the same time. And the end of October is me turning in going back to town and turning in all the side quests at the same time. Yeah, no response says hit the follow button if you're not following already. That way you know next time I'm going to go live. It's really important because I am going to be switching up my schedule. How you approach pricing prints versus original hand-drawn pieces? I always feel like hand-drawn stuff would be higher priced due to its uniqueness and more tactile feel/look. I guess prints could be higher priced based on paper and print quality? Yes, typically originals are priced a lot more than prints. And And the prices range from like, you know, literally $0 up to millions of dollars, depending on any number of circumstances. It's between you and your customer, which makes it tough to say. But when it comes to prints, you know, I usually try to think about like prints in the category of like a live, laugh, love sign, you know? If we are going to be, I think of prints as being like a piece of home decor. And, you know, if you're getting a specialty piece of home decor, it's like you have to look at other items that are in that category to get a sense of the pricing. When it comes to something super specialized like an original, you know, I typically think that those things are, you know, really specialty items and, you know, should be sold at a decent price. But, you know, it depends. Like if you just like don't care, you know, you're just happy to have made it, you want to find it a home, you can sell it for whatever you feel comfortable with. That could mean selling it for less than some people sell prints for. But you can also just keep it in the closet and just enjoy it and just have it for yourself, for your own archive. It's up to you. There's a lot of different ways to consider the value of art. So yeah, I'm trying to finish all my side quests and wrap them all up. That includes I'm sort of going to be wrapping up the chapter here on Twitch. I'm going to be, I've been keeping a regular schedule for the last 3 months, and I'm going to be switching it up. And so I'm rethinking how I'm going to be doing that. And to do that, this is actually going to be my last stream for a week or two. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break until November. And then in November, I'm going to come back with a new streaming schedule and a new plan for how I'm going to do streaming. So yeah, so side quest for Twitch, wrapping it up. Lightbox, my first convention back in several years. I'm going to be there next week. I'm going to be traveling on the 25th. And I'll be there, I think it starts on the 27th. So I'll be in the Pasadena Convention Center 27th, 28th, and 29th. That's going to be hot. I've got a bunch of stuff with me. I'm going to be signing a bunch of autographs and selling a bunch of merch and stuff. First convention in a long time. I used to do them constantly, but I haven't done them since the pandemic. Since before the pandemic, back in 2019. I think Dragon Con might have been the last. Dragon Con 2019 might have been the last con I was at. So that side quest is going to be wrapped up. This is the last of the tarot cards that I've done my first pass on. I was going to like redo some of them, but this fills out the major arcana. This is the 22nd card that I've illustrated. And so this is going to get wrapped up. And the only thing I'm not going to be able to close out by the end of October is the studies. Well, I was trying to do 100 of them. I've done 92. And because of Lightbox, I'm not going to be able to get 100 studies, the 100th study done by the time October's over. But like, it's all kind of arbitrary, so who cares? By the time I come back to streaming, I will have a different study challenge for myself. I will be on a different phase of Angelarium where I'm going to be like working a different focus for Angelarium. Huckleberry's still a thing. I'm going to be moving into the next chapter with Huckleberry. It's like I'm sort of taking a breath and like reassessing my strategy kind of across the board, starting, you know, with the end of this month going into the next one. And it kind of coincides with my birthday, which is cool. Hey, Addict, how's it going? So it's all of it is like kind of happening all at the same time, which is, I guess, the way I like to do it. But yeah, so today is Friday, which means we're coming on to the weekend. I have put everything into this week, and now I'm going to like take all the weight off and just chill a little bit over the weekend. Maybe do a low-key draw sesh with a friend. Maybe play some Tekken with another friend. Watch some movies with the kids. Go for some bike rides. God, the weather's good out here right now. And just take it easy, because if I don't recharge, I'm not going to be able to get back to it the way I need to. I'm curious to see where you take Huckleberry. It's been a wonderful server. Yeah, you know, it's going to continue. The server is not going to be changing in any dramatic way. Server's going to be, server's going to keep going the way it's been going. And then we already have like, you know, some people who are doing paid mentorships on the server, on like private space on the server. We're also going to be adding on classes, like self-directed classes and stuff. Who's my main in Tekken? I don't really have one. I'm partial to Yoshimitsu because I loved him in Soul Calibur also. So last time I had to play Tekken, I was trying to learn Yoshi. I'm also partial to kind of weird oddball characters, so fine. I lost my life in Lords of the Fallen. They have amazing design. I've been wanting to check that out. I was kind of waiting to see if it was going to get patched and balanced, and maybe some performance issues, some bugs, stuff like that. Some maybe boss challenge adjusted a little bit. I'll let them get some patches in post-launch after they got some feedback, and then check it all out. Did I get in the beta? No, I didn't get in the beta. I think we're playing Tekken 7. I'm not sure. I got a friend who's like, we should hang out and just play Tekken instead of like worry about work or whatever. And I was like, yes. So I've been leaning on them going like, this weekend we should do it. Tekken, come on. And just like not have my life, everything in my life revolve around work or content. You know, personal stuff. Tekken. That's right. So Tekken 8 beta started today. Ooh. Yeah, no, we're playing Tekken 7. I don't know the difference. I think I've played a total of about 3 hours of Tekken 7. So it might as well be the new one to me. It looks like a banger though. I mean, the last few Tekken games seem like they've been really cool. I've got some YouTube content watching some people like work it. It seems like a really competitive game. It's super complicated. I've always been a big fan of Soul Calibur, and there's a lot of shared DNA between the two of them. But I never quite could figure out Tekken. It always seemed a little bit mysterious to me in comparison to Soul Calibur. I could always wrap my head around Soul Calibur. Visually, it does look amazing. It always looks hype as hell. I love all like this kind of slow-mo last hit stuff. Like everything in Tekken always looks hype. When Tekken's played well, it always looks super hype. The shout casting's always good. I don't know. Tekken seems sweet. The moves lists though are indigestible to an amateur like me. Totally indigestible. Hey Vital. Yeah, so I'm gonna have a weekend. I'm gonna take a weekend. This has been my strategy for the last year or so. So I was doing I've been working from home, you know, since before the pandemic. I've been working from home for like the last decade, right? So like when everybody else discovered the like work from home craze, I'd been there. But like last year, I went and I rented office space to go commute to an office, bicycle commute, easy commute, to go and like, you know, get out of the house, because I was having a really hard time focusing and getting to work. And I thought if I was around more people, if I was in a more professional environment, you know, I wouldn't procrastinate so much. There'd be less StarCraft during the workday. And so I gave it a shot. And it worked awesome for 6 months. And it worked all right for 3 months. And then I was just like kind of stopped going. And so I was paying for this office. And I also wasn't getting any work done at home, and I was like procrastinating bad again. I'm like, okay, well, it was a good theory, but it didn't pan out. So I moved the whole situation back home, and I started doing great at home again. And I've been doing great at home for a while. And I realized that like while I was in the office, part of the thing that worked so well was that I had on time and off time. And creating that separation and getting a little discipline about it gave me like this ability to kind of like turn it off and turn it on again in a way that like I was noticing the recharge. Like part of the reason I realized I was doing so poorly in my during my work time at home was that I felt the need to constantly be working. And I always like was carrying my work with me even when I was not working. And so I never felt like I had time off, and I was just constantly pushing through burnout. And then when I got into a habit where I was actually like had on time and off time again, I took that back to the home office with me, and I've been doing a lot better. But it's really required me to be serious about my off time and be serious about the weekends. which is, you know, not been too tough. That's what I'm kind of gearing up for right now, is I'm feeling the burnout settle in, and I go, okay, if I expect to be able to do anything good, if I'm going to be good at my job, that means I need to be good at weekends. I need to be good at like doing social engagements. I need to be good about having fun for myself. I need to be good about hanging out and being chill. Because if I can't do that, then I can't do the other stuff. I can't do like the try hard stuff where I like make a bunch of products or like work on things simultaneously and juggle and like fret over my business and like make big plans for the future. None of that shit can happen if I don't learn how to relax. Escabinator? Wow. I'm in the exact same spot. I've been working from home for 6 years. And now I have the need to come back into an office. Give it a try. I mean, I felt like it was a good palate cleanser, but it was an expensive experiment for me to just kind of do it. Like the rented office space, like the work share sort of WeWork space that I was able to get was fucking pricey for what it was. And I never really felt like I actually connected with the culture over there, like the other people with other businesses and stuff. I never felt like I was connected to them. I'm kind of socially awkward, you know, if I don't know how to have like common ground with people. And so everyone around me was more of a nuisance. And I was kind of a nuisance to them too. Like I couldn't really have like calls or broadcasts because the walls were so thin. The walls didn't even go all the way to the ceiling. They were like bathroom stalls almost. Where like they like they like just the walls would just stop, and so like all the ductwork went over there. So like all the sound went straight over the top. Did I give anyone a banana during the Discord segment? No. I mean we got like no activity on like the challenges on the sort of Drawtober side of things right now. Just I think we're gonna bring the bananas back once we redo the way that we do challenges and stuff when I come back in November. We're gonna get back to the bananas. We're gonna get back to custom challenges, and we're gonna play it up even bigger than we were before. I've got ideas. I got plans. There's a lot of events on the server I want to do, and I want to make sure the server continues to be a really cool place. So I'm gonna keep building on top of the successes we've already had, and then also be like developing, you know, products for the future when it comes to Huckleberry. There's plenty coming. But yeah, I mean, taking a pause and like reassessing, that to me feels like the correct choice right now. So taking a pause and I'm reassessing. Hope you guys don't mind. It should be, it's going to be, I think what we're going to do next is really fun. But I got to go on a mission first. One of the other things I've been thinking a lot about is like, I want to wrap up on some of the stuff I kind of have rolling in order to make room for what comes next. I'm thinking a lot about the Angelarium RPG. I would say in this last broadcast too, that like I've got this RPG that's kind of in the works, being written. And I really want to go, when I get on it, I want to go full-time on it. Full-time means full-time work on art. It means playtests on the Angelarium server. You know, a year's worth of like playtesting and rewriting while I illustrate it. And have it be like my main thing for my Patreon, main thing on my, you know, online social posting and stuff, and just have like my work really revolve around the RPG while it's in development. Because it's so big of a project that I think if I were to try to juggle it with other stuff, it would go on for years and years. And that was like one of the problems I had when I was trying to wrap up like the Book of Watchers after I had kickstarted it. I kickstarted it before it was finished, and then I was like, oh, it's okay, I'll just juggle this along with my my conventions and like my other things that I'm spinning up and everything, and it'll be fine. Like, and then it took me 5 years to finish the book, I don't want to take 5 years to finish this book. I want to do it in one. And doing it in one means dedicating myself to it. But to dedicate myself to it, I need to say no to all the other things. But I don't want to like leave the stuff I have boiling. I want to wrap them up, move on. I mean, this isn't motivation. This is strategy. To me, this is me trying to like strategize for the future. I'm always strategizing. I'm in the shower. This is what I think about when I'm in the shower, and I'm just like, all these ideas are rolling through my head. I think about creative stuff too, but like this business stuff, these kinds of strategies, they're always with me. And I like talking about them, and I like getting into it. Can you drop a link for the Angelarium server? Yeah. The Angelarium server is still rolling. It's been kind of quiet, but I plan on like using it as a sort of hotbed for anything happening to the with the anything that's going to be happening with the RPG once that starts spinning up. Oh, forgot to put my video on in here. Here we go. All right. Not moral. Ooh, let's go. Yeah. Welcome to the stream. I've got all these plans, you know? Got all these plans, and I'm trying to figure out how they weave together. It's not good enough to just have a lot of things that I want to do. They have to be all part of a system. What is with this guy's midriff? If he turns around, are we gonna see his pubes popping out here? What's going on? I'm realizing that the way all his fit works, it looks fine from this angle, but I bet it looks crazy from the front. Which step of the drawing process would you say requires the most mastery? Final touch renders, like how to take it further, or initial touch, or anything between? I mean, it depends. Like with these studies, it feels like there's places at every step where if you were to like be really, really good at it, it could be transformative. Because some people, like, the thing that's really insane about what they do is that they can like get the look and feel of a thing right off the bat. Like they just capture the essence of it, even in the most rough initial strokes. And that to me seems incredible, because I feel like I can always pull something together in the final finish. Like if I spend enough time on it, I can polish it. I've been able to do that for a long time. But then the idea of being able to just like nail it in one super efficiently, that seems insane. Like, I don't know how. So I always have tons of respect for that. So to me, that seems like a high level of mastery, but also like there is a degree of polish that also is like so elevated. It not only leaves a really strong impression, but it also like is even beyond what I feel like I can do with my own work. You know, I know my way around this stuff pretty well, but there are people who are able to do a level of polish beyond what I feel like I'm capable of. So it's like, you know, both at the very beginning and the very end, I feel like there's like people who are able to go beyond what I know how to do. And I wouldn't say that one of them is like mastery and the other one is like, you know, not. There's a lot of different kinds of mastery. The initial stage can be really, really important. But also, like, you know, with these studies, in a lot of cases, I'm just like dedicating myself to just being crappy at first and just focusing on like kind of, you know, refining the structure until I get it right, rather than being really picky about nailing it on the first try. And like my willingness to just have the initial passes be bad is like part of the strategy that like gets me to someplace good later. But there's also the opportunity to just kind of like refine the skill of like making it good on the first pass. But yeah, I don't get too scared by the ugly stage. The ugly stage is like, I don't know, I've seen it so many times, I just don't freak out that bad. You know, I kind of have a soft spot for bad drawings. The way this turtleneck looks in silhouette makes his neck look crazy because it's like wider at the top than it is at the bottom. It's like upside down cone. What the hell? Not that far off on the structure, I think. Trusting the process. Are Picasso drawings bad? Sure. I'm just gonna say Picasso was a bad artist. Not because I believe it, but because it's funny. We had this whole talk last night about fundamentals. And I've had this long belief that like fundamentals aren't fundamental. Fuzzy came in with this really interesting take where he's like, no, fundamentals are not universal. Fundamentals are just the things that are prerequisites for other things. But that presumes that you're trying to get the same results as somebody else. Right? Like anatomy is a prerequisite for realism. But to say that anatomy is fundamental to art presumes that realism is like the highest form of art, or that it's like an essential pursuit of art. And in a lot of cases, it's not. There's this, within the entertainment art space and a lot of digital art discussion, there is this like desire for realism that seems to like be sort of self-reinforcing. People treat realism as a foregone conclusion. And as somebody who's like a semi-realistic artist, like I get it to a degree, but also I have suspicions of it because I draw from a lot of inspirations that fall outside of realism. And I think that overall, I think people are kind of overemphasizing the importance of realism in art. Can't bike to an island. What did I miss? Shit. People are like, well, if they can draw realism, they're good. And if they can't draw realism, they're bad. It's like a bad take. There's lots of artists who are great artists throughout history that did not focus on realism and did not have the capacity for realism. And like, I feel like there's a modern day bias in favor of realism, which is bizarre. I mean, if you like these thoughtful takes, you should check out the Discord. Always having thoughtful takes. But yeah, there's within the digital art like painting world, there is like this sort of like presumption of realism that I think is ultimately kind of counterproductive for people. And I don't even think it comes up as a conversational topic. It's just like, it doesn't, it like never even, the assumption never even gets addressed. It just kind of like exists, you know, and reinforced by amateurs and, you know, influential artists and teachers and everyone, all operate under the presumption that realism is like the highest form of artistic expression. And there'll be some lip service to, like, you know, abstract expressionism or whatever every once in a while. But, and I know some artists who have a very specific love that falls outside, a love of art that falls outside of realism. But like the discussion of their work only exists insofar as it overlaps with realism. So it's like, you know, what are we doing here is a big question, like hangs in the air. Like, what are we making this art for again? Oh, to make it look like a real thing. Like, sure. I mean, that's what I'm studying right now, but that's not like the only thing. I find realism to be pretty interesting, to a degree. Yeah. A lot of people say that the further you get from realism, the worse the art is. Just flat out. The more it looks like the thing, the better the art is. It's a very simplistic perspective on art, which makes it very tempting. Switch to the next stage here. Take a photo, it'll last longer. It's true. I mean, we all have cameras, right? This is what you see this all the time in, like, in talking about art nowadays. It's like, you know, well, if you just want a photo, if you wanted something to look, you know, if you want it to look realistic, like, look at this AI can make realism. You know, it's like the discussion, the sort of misguided discussion about realism in imaginative work has like bled over into the AI discussion, where it's like, oh look, it's getting more and more realistic, and now that it's like able to do something close to photorealism, it stopped. Like, it largely kind of felt like the progress on AI has halted. It hasn't fully halted, but like it really feels like there's been a slowdown. There's like a ceiling. And I think it has to do with like a sort of misunderstanding about what artistic intention is all about. Because even if you have a machine that's able to create photorealistic images from scratch, it doesn't mean that you have like the perfect artist in a box. I was kind of hoping that all that stuff with AI was going to help like illuminate this discussion a little bit, that there was going to be a larger discussion about what an artist's role is in image making. Doesn't seem to have happened though, unfortunately. People are starting to see AI's shortcomings now. Yeah, I mean, the shortcomings have been there the whole time, but you know, people have been so wrapped up in this idea of like style, you know, owning styles and like artist names and like photorealism, that like kind of missed the point, I think. Kind of missed the point. This head's a weird proportion. But it's, I don't know. I'm going to get in there and do something a little bit more refined with it in a second. I don't want to draw this background. What do I want? What do I want? Ooh, chat's popping now. Do a basic background using the BH. How important are brush textures when creating digital art? It's really wild how many people hunt for brushes. Someone with MS Paint can create more textures with like 2 brushes. I personally have a very, very small collection of brushes that I use, and like the majority of what I do is like 2 brushes, and then the majority of that is the round brush. I mean, AI is already decent at hands. It's like, that wasn't the thing, you know. It really comes back to this idea of like, is realism the highest form of art or not? I think that brush is close to what the actual discussion is. Background? Oh yeah. I mean, I'll probably just, yeah, laying in a simple background is probably my next step here. Oh, I must be spacing. I'm hitting the wrong rocker button on my tablet. I work in advertisement. We've been using image banks for years, and it's never easy to find what the client is looking for half the time. So we just end up having to do photo shoots. The old Huckleberry, yeah, that's my round brush. I was playing around with the idea of like branding it the same as like as the server. So like, cause it's like, I feel real attachment to just sort of like doing a lot of things the manual way with the round brush. So I thought maybe brand the 2 things together. Like people are always asking me like what brushes I use and stuff. You know, use it as like a little bit of a branding tool for the educational brand, you know. If it were to catch on, it could be big. The Huckleberry brush. It's just a round brush with a size flow on it. Size jitter. You can feel the artist in the art. It's true. Well, what's funny about the AI discussion is that like, you're like, everyone's like, oh, well, yeah, you can tell that it's actually shit. When you look at it, all the AI art is shit. But also it's coming for our jobs because it's so good. And I'm like, I can't tell if the discussion that it's too good or it's too bad. But it's too something. The discussions are wild. I had a discussion with a guy at a gallery show. Let's say he was a veteran of the film industry for multiple decades. Somebody with an incredible amount of experience and knowledge in art. And he said, well, it's illegal to copy another artist's style. I said, no, you know that that's not true. And he goes, it is true because the AI is signing the artist's name. And I was like, well, that's not true either. And I just thought it was so weird. Like, as soon as you start pressing in on the details on a lot of the stuff, people will literally just start making things up. Like, it's clear that in an emotional issue like this, that like people have a strong reaction, but like there's a desire to attach a narrative to that reaction. And that narrative is not always conforming to the facts of the situation. And like to the point that smart, you know, people with like lots of life experience who are deeply entrenched in this stuff, who know it really well, will say things that are just flat out wrong or false in a discussion, just because like they know the feeling they're trying to express, but they don't know the words or the narrative that are correct. And they'll just like say shit. I mean, that's what everybody does. Like when we get cornered, we just sort of say the thing that feels right. And like, you know, the discussion about AI is like so difficult to get to terms with that I'm finding that a lot of people, smart people, are just saying things. They're just making things up. And then, you know, whenever one of those things feels really right to a lot of people, it takes hold. It gets a little bit of purchase, and then it just starts getting spread around. And then you hear it around at a lot of cocktail parties. I've been trying to figure out, like, you know, if all this stuff, you know, what's really happening with all this stuff. And honestly, I don't feel like if somebody who's like trying to be genuinely curious about it, I don't actually feel like I know what's happening. I have a general sense of it. I think everybody feels like they've got a general sense of it too. So, trying to figure out what the facts are. But it's not exactly my full-time pursuit, so I don't really feel like I've got that either. But anyways, that actually I was just trying to sell it in a cafe or coffee shop first. I'm assuming you're talking about putting work, selling artwork and not. Where the name Huckleberry come from? It seems so left field, lol. I've been curious. Yeah, I'm curious whether or not I should tell people what the origin story of the name is, or if I should keep it mysterious. Because the origin story is not that interesting. But like mystery is interesting, so I might just keep it mysterious going forwards. There's plenty of people that know the answer to the question, but I think I might choose to stop answering it. Or like many great business founders, I maybe should develop a fake origin story. Like you know, like a lot of big company founders, they like go on stage to talk about like why they started their company, and in a lot of cases they just lie. They just lie. They just like they come up with an origin story that sounds incredible just to like get people invested in what they're making. But it's like it's not lies that like are material to their product. It's like just storytelling to help express the idea of like who they are and like what they're making. And so I thought maybe I should come up with a story that like encapsulates my aspirations for what Huckleberry is, rather than tell the truth of it. The lie that tells the greater truth. It's an idea. Or I could simply just tell people flat out, there is a real story and I'm not going to tell it. Was it here we talked about the Flamin' Hot Cheetos story? Was the Flamin' Hot Cheetos story? I don't remember. That sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. That sounds like something I might have been talking about while I was sleepy late at night. Yes, I remember this was discussed. Flamin' Hot Cheetos? I don't remember. Mexican immigrant was a janitor at a Frito-Lay when he came up with the idea for the Flamin' Hot Cheetos. That sounds made up. They made a movie about it, and I'm pretty sure that whole thing was made up. I know, like, yeah, there's a movie about it on... Apparently it's BS, yeah. The same thing, like, they made a movie about the origin story of Tetris, which is its own interesting story, but the movie adaptation is, like, totally fictitious. Like, they made it based on a true story, but they, like, didn't tell the true story. What time's the giveaway? Oh, that's a good question. We got one. If this is the last time we're going to be doing this format, this might be our last giveaway for the time being. We have a great love of Cheetos in my household. We like them. Dustin, can you set up the giveaway? We can start the giveaway after I set it up now. Okay, great. You must win. Still need to finish McMillions. McMillions is a I don't know if they did a dramatization of it, but I know the actual story of the Monopoly giveaway. I watched the interview where they... You got it set up?
Are we doing a Huyan again?
Let's do the XP pen again. XP pen Deco Fun Large, because they're like... The Huyan has too many SKUs, and it makes it really hard to nail it down when we have international winners. It's been a little bit of a struggle to like buy the right one, and the prices are actually really different across different regions. So I've been like in for twice as much money on the giveaways for the Huyans, depending on who wins it. There's an organic brand called Pipcorn. That's amazing. That's a good name. Yeah, we're gonna give away an XP pen today. Whoever wins it is gonna get an XP pen Deco Fun Large, which is a 6-inch by 10-inch, or I guess it's more like 10 inches wide by 6 inches tall pen tablet. Very, very similar to the one that I'm using, that I use for all my mainline work. Just finished watching docudrama Painkiller. Hoo boy. Yeah, anything that has to do with the painkiller industry, you can sort of just presume that like all of the evil that's in that is like largely true. That stuff doesn't need to be really dramatized. I watched the one with Michael Keaton. What was it called? There was a Hulu docu. Oh, giveaway is live. There you go. Link in the chat. All you need to do is click. Let me go to it and I'll show you guys. You just need to click the reaction to enter. In the text channels. If you go to text channels here, Friday giveaway, there is a celebration emoji. You click that and you are entered to win. That's all you need to do. Yeah, F's in the chat for Big Pharma. Man, fucking Sackler family. Holy shit. Don't love it. Don't love it. What happened? Well, I mean, you know, with painkillers, you know, they got people, they lied to people about how addictive they were and got a lot of people hooked on it, and started was basically the entire, you know, fentanyl painkiller crisis that we're dealing with right now is like all an offshoot of like specific actions taken by a handful of rich people in the US. It's about the Sacklers. They dramatized it wouldn't be sued by the Sacklers. Okay. Yeah, what was the one with Michael Keaton in it? I think that was on Hulu. I saw that. That was pretty crazy. I thought it was a really interesting story, really well performed. I can't remember the name off the top of my head while I'm streaming. I got streamer brain. I can't get pain meds I actually need for my fibromyalgia. Yeah. Yep. It sucks. Spending millions of dollars to keep cannabis illegal and so forth and so on. Yep. And now the heroin crisis. Yep. We got to change the subject, though. It's like we don't have anything really. I don't have anything insightful to say about it, unfortunately, and I can't really help anybody with this situation. So, you know, it's maybe not the right subject for this stream. As much as I feel strongly for everybody who's been affected by it. How's the fall weather? It's been fucking fantastic. The trees don't change color around here. It just goes from being painfully hot outside to being beautiful. We don't get a lot of change. And then it goes from being wonderful pool weather to wonderful biking weather around where I live, which I can take one or the other, honestly. You know, I like both of those quite a bit. This is coming along quickly. It's not perfect. I'm gonna do just a little bit of a tweak. I'm gonna do a little tweaky tweak. Yeah. That's it. And then I'm going to maybe a little more tweaky tweak. There we go. And then add a splash of color and then start working on some details. 1 hour in, and I'm watching the chat half the time, so this is a fast one. Savannah, Georgia always stayed brown and green in winter. No fall changes. Yeah, I've been thinking like I would if I wasn't already traveling to LA for Lightbox, I really want to go visit some friends up north. and just go see a little bit of the fall. Sounds really nice. We have some very distinct colors that could be brought out with the gradient map on this one. Because you see these purples that are kind of the blues from the overcast sky inside the shadows, and then the cores of them are much warmer. This warm orange around here, follow around with the blue in the shadow, and then a little bit of cream in the highlight. I wonder if there's one already made that's going to automatically do that, or if I'm going to have to be pushing around some stuff. Because we get these blues in here just like that. Maybe even bring it up a little bit. Bluish, purplish. It's more on the purple side of blue for sure. And then I think further down we're looking for some deep oranges. Like that. If we want to keep it accurate to the reference. Pull this down here this way, trap it in a little bit till we get exactly the right range to kind of capture what we're going for here. And then we also have some sort of like, what do we want to have around that rim between the two? Is that going to be like a saturated, is it on this side? Yeah, it's on this side. We already have this like orange over here. We just need to like dial it in. Interesting. It's fucking with the background a lot. But I feel like it's pretty close to what we need. This is one of the things Procreate sucks at. Oh, absolutely. It's one of the reasons I don't like Procreate. I don't get to mess around on this stuff. People tell me, oh, Procreate's got the gradient maps. Yeah, okay, whatever, guys. Whatever you say. Okay, Zoomer. Maybe it's towards the top we need to go back to like a grayish. Or like a... What if it goes back towards the bluish a little bit? Grays out that background and it does something interesting with the lighting on here. Creates this kind of pale highlight that's kind of cool. Might push around the values a little bit to see if like it's like maybe a little bit too much on the pants. But maybe all I need to do is add a slight glaze of black over the pants to sort of get that contained a little bit. Or white? Do I need more of it? The shadows along that rim. Honestly, I'm preferring pencil and paper these days. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Speaking of Procreate, they just banned Crystal Sully from their Facebook group, accusing her of posting AI-generated art when she makes it herself using Procreate. Total mess. She couldn't share the process because it was NDA. So good. Yeah, this whole anti-AI paranoia, it's like, what's crazy to me is it's like it hasn't prevented, like, magazines who like hate AI from like licensing AI art, because the people who are trying to gatekeep this stuff hate it so much they don't know what it looks like. And then but then it also creates all these false positives if people start jumping at shadows. And it's like the people who really hate this stuff don't have enough contact with it to know the difference between AI art and non-AI art. Like you need people who actually like use these tools to be able to tell you what is not AI. Because they're the only ones that have enough exposure to it to be able to like have a shot at correctly identifying it. But those people are the ones they were trying to keep out. So it's like, what are you gonna do? How do you know what something is, but also not know, but never have contact with it? It's just like a witch hunt. You're like, we need to stop all the black magic users, and like, but it's like you need to have somebody who knows black magic in order to identify it. And then like they try to use these like AI detectors, but the AI detectors don't work. They're just more AI. Like, and like they're really inaccurate. it's crazy what they're trying to do with all this stuff. I feel bad for the people who get caught in the middle, whether it's like, you know, people who are getting falsely accused of stuff the way Crystal was. That's lame. And then you know, like, it doesn't feel like any of this stuff is in service of like the well-being of artists. At the end of the day, I just want what's good for artists. And like extreme paranoia where people are kind of lashing out at each other is like not it. I've seen like really pretty convincing AI stuff, but like I can usually tell the difference because I have some very specific things that I know to look for. I've had enough contact with it where I feel like I can tell the difference pretty well. Some of the stuff they get that tricks people is so brutally obvious. I have absolutely no idea how they get like fooled by it. But I mean, that's where my whole criticism of like this sort of anti-AI paranoia comes in. Is it's like people who are, the more anti-AI someone is, the more likely they are to get tricked by really obvious AI usage. It's starting to get difficult to tell sometimes with upscalers. I don't know. I think you have to know what you're looking for. Like, you have to know what AI is good at, what it's bad at, to be able to tell the difference. It wasn't like a super fully rendered piece, so I figured somebody did it. Yeah, well, it's like, it's not just the style, because you can feed it a bunch of like 3/4 finished paintings and have it imitate that look. I saw you critique a guy's work on stream and literally all of his art was AI. Who? Whose work are you talking about? Like, that's the thing, is a bunch of people will say like that guy's whole work is AI. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Also, some people like on the community use AI on some stuff. Like, they'll use it for reference and they'll copy it, but they don't actually, like, all the marks on the piece are actually theirs. I'll have to find it in the VOD. Good luck. You're wrong. Oh, I'll find it in the VOD. You spent all this time critiquing the guy's work and it was all AI. You're wrong. You are delusional. That's what I'm talking about. People are so scared of this stuff that they have absolutely no idea what they're saying. They'd just be like, oh, this guy's all AI. There's been a couple of critiques. It's like a handful of people who have ever had critiques. Like, I can remember most of them. Yeah, people are just like, they're a witch, burn them. Yeah, Angel Air's all AI. The I had a magazine try to like interview me for like cover or whatever, and then after it was all over, they were like, "Oh, hey, we need you to tell us whether or not it's AI." And I was like, "This piece was done in 2017." Like, for me to do with AI, I'd also need a time machine. And if I had a time machine, I wouldn't be fucking around trying to, like, trick people with AI. And they're like, so what are you saying? You're saying it's not AI? And I'm just like, man, I really wish people weren't so dumb. I don't really want to draw this background, but I want something. I feel like it needs to reflect this thing. See, I have the we have the channel where people were submitting portfolios from before, I think. Portfolio submissions. It's locked now. I'm trying to even think of who they would have been talking about. Vlad, maybe? Vlad uses AI as part of his process sometimes. Matsya Das. This guy 100% not AI. 1000%. The guy does like all like ink and watercolor. It's AI. This guy. The guy with the eyesight issues who 100% doesn't use AI is from Chicago. I remember these people. I spent a lot of time talking to every one of them. Fijodo, I mean, community member, totally not. I'm lost. Who's this fucking AI? Min? Min, who's like hangs out here and all he does is draw on the Discord all day. Turns out it was an AI drawing the whole time. Min's just sitting there with his arms crossed. There's a lot of really good artists in the submission section. I think I remember which ones I critted and which ones aren't. I didn't like. That's the majority of people I critted. Who's the one that did the AI? Go ahead and call them out. Go ahead and tell me. Otherwise, I'm going to need you to donate some subs for falsely accusing artists of being AI again. I think this person owes some apology to one of our community members. What I think is going on here. I like the bluish grayish better for the background. Or something. Fuck, I don't know. Who is it that was making these AI accusations again? Call them out directly. People just throwing that shit around. Scrib 5. See, there was the only AI usage that came up, as far as I remember, was Vlad talked about using AI as part of his process where he was using it, and then he painted his own original piece using AI to develop the image, and then he did that as part of the Fairy Tale with a Twist challenge, and yeah. It was Vlad's piece, the Phoenix one for the Fairy Tale with a Twist. as he brought it up and he mentioned it specifically. Is John Su a well-known artist? Maybe. I don't know John Su, but maybe he is. Also, Vlad hangs out on the server all the time and does tons of studies and is a working artist who the vast majority of his work is all manually painted. You say somebody's an AI artist, sort of the presumption is that they're making stuff using AI. Inktober section said this is a lot of detail to achieve in one day. In the Inktober section, there isn't an Inktober section. Oh, the guy's site had an Inktober section. This wasn't. We never looked at Lumen's stuff on here. Inktober section. Was it Ace? No, I'm recognizing a lot of this stuff. I don't recognize the ones we skipped over. UI artist from Singapore. Inktober. Not seeing a lot of AI here. Addict? No way it would be Addict. LGN? Great studies. No Inktober stuff. A lot of these people are like either have most portfolios I see either have an anti-AI post on them or say something about human artists, blah blah blah. Like, damn, this shit's cool. I didn't see this before. Trying to see somebody who has an Inktober section. John? No. Oh, there's a Penway fan art in here. Hell yeah. Oh, wait. Did I catch these before, but I've missed some of them. I have a bunch of these saved. Oh, these came out so good. I didn't see him complete the series. Fuck, I gotta save that tab for later. Yeah, I'm lost. Add extreme self. He's just adding new tabs. That is destroying me, chaos. It was a total ploy. No, thank you. Hey, just saw Obsidian Grove do this in your style. That's cool. I didn't notice that. Shit. Hey, welcome. Yeah, so I had no idea what this person's on about. I don't like the color of these pants. I wonder if they need like a darker pale gray over the top to kind of get closer to the paler yellow that I'm looking for. It's like a mixture of stuff. I'm looking here rather than looking here because I think that there's like something going on. Maybe the blue highlight at the top end of this gradient map is actually doing me a disservice. Wherever I got it there is exactly the wrong place for the pants. That's fine though. I like that. I'm getting a fuller, kind of richer look for the gradient map as a result of that. Yeah, I'll go with that. I think I'm in good face. I'm in good talking. I'm in good situation to go ahead and finish the details on this, and then call it a day. Close the chapter on this. I'm gonna go to my old Huckleberry. Went to book again yesterday and got some potential gouache purchases. Ooh, interesting. I feel like now you've discovered the magic that is the smell of a good blick. That good blick smell. Yeah, I'm gonna get into gouache. I'm gonna get into gouache. I think early next year. The plan is to like take a class in January. Got plans to take a gouache class in January and like be sharing my progress in the class along sort of publicly. Promote the class that I'm taking. What is the difference between gouache and acrylic? Damn, that's a good question. I think it's something about the chemistry of it. I'm not sure in terms of practicality of how they work. I think gouache is more opaque, broadly. And I'm sure texturally they're different. But I haven't worked enough. I haven't worked very much with gouache at all. I've barely touched it. So I'm not actually sure. But the way I see it laid down, it always ends up looking really opaque. Depends on how it's used. It dries darker. Okay. The only downside to gouache is it can lift after several layers when trying to paint over. Interesting. I wonder if that's going to be bad for me. I do like to just sort of fiddle and fiddle and fiddle. It's one of the great things about digital is that you can never you never ruin your surface or your paint. You just always be adding more. $20 minutes left on the giveaway. Hit that link if you want a free tablet. Giving away a pen tablet. XP Pen Deco Fun Large. That's a 6-inch by 10-inch pen tablet. Simple, basic one. But if you don't have one or you got a crappy one, it's like not working good, we'll get you a new one. All you got to do is click the link. Then hit the celebration emoji to enter to win. We're going to give one away in 20 minutes. It can be wetted again after it dries. Uh-oh. That's going to be really different for me. With acrylic, I always like to sort of thinly glaze more watered down acrylic over the top of the stuff that's already there. I think gouache is going to feel really different to me. I think I'm going to struggle with it. But putting myself in the path of doing something hard is like exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to like expanding my horizons. That's kind of what I want to take a class on it. That, and I love those Studio Ghibli backgrounds. It feels like a lot of like really art that I really like is done in gouache, and so I want to see what the fuss is all about. Which angel do you think killed him? Man, I need to make an angel of banning. It's like the whole problem with the AI debate is that everyone's trying to fucking dunk on each other all the time in like the most obnoxious and disingenuous way possible. And it's just like wasting everyone's time by like making these really bold claims. And then coming back and being like, oh, actually, that's not, oh, yeah, no, yeah, you were right. But, like, I wasn't even making that point. Bullshit. Backpedaling MF for... Yeah, that's the thing. People just want to throw shit around. No, I've had plenty of people come to me over the years. Oh, not years, but over the last year or so being like, oh, you think this is AI? And like almost every single time anybody has an inclination, it usually is. But like, you know, the people who are asking me usually have some level of exposure to it. And the more you see of it, the more you can like kind of spot it at a distance. But then, like, the part where, like, somebody would think Crystal Sully is using AI is, like, just funny. Because it's, like, there's no shot. I haven't seen Crystal Sully's work recently, so like I don't know. Maybe she took a weird pivot towards AI usage. I heard somebody told me Jim Pavlik got some heat because he admitted he was using AI. And he's tried to be on the side of like the purity brigade on other issues and things, so he ended up getting burned pretty bad by admitting that he was part of the problem or whatever. Like, I mean, this is part of the issues. You have these people who like they demand purity on all kinds of issues, and then they like go and, you know, they look for a nuanced take on some new issue that comes along, and then they end up getting like self-owned. Any ideas on challenges, weekly, monthly? I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I've got plenty of ideas for challenges. Like, one of the big things I want to do is I want to create like a sort of ongoing challenge competition where I want to make something that's a little bit more like Chroma Core. Oh, she's been dealing with some personal stuff? Yeah, I know she's got stuff going on. SJWs? I wouldn't frame it like that personally. It's like, what's funny is it's like people who like, you know, they try to be based about one thing, and then they end up trying to be sympathetic for another thing. And, you know, it's like when you try to get really dogmatic about issues, you know, regardless of what side of it you're on, you end up opening yourself up to criticism about other things. And it's like, you know, this is one of the reasons why I'm personally going to try to stay out of a lot of online fights. Like, I don't really want to go out there and like be posting a bunch of super hot takes when it comes to anything that's currently controversial. My favorite to watch recently is every time I open up Threads, it's nonstop posts from cynics trying to dunk on people about Israel-Palestine. I'm just like, of all the people in the world to create political commentary, having a guy who's just like, you know, whose entire notoriety revolves around, you know, art instruction, suddenly becoming like an expert about like the Middle East is like such an ill-fated turn. And I'm just watching the engagement numbers go down by the day, it feels like. And I'm just like shocked that someone would make such a totally unforced error. So I'm someone who has a very strong sense of justice. I have very strong opinions about basically everything. And I've gotten myself into trouble over it many, many times over the years. And the learning lesson from all of it has been to try to do better in areas where I can affect things and say less when it comes to places where I can. Because any loss of reputation I've ever suffered from like getting overly involved in online fights has only degraded my ability to do good in the world. And I want to do that less. Ooh, do we have a raffle winner? Let's take a look. Ends in 8 minutes. Okay. 8 minutes. Yeah, I've gotten to know plenty of people who are really good at kind of staying out of it over the years, and I'm realizing there's some qualities out there in the world that I hadn't really ever valued. One of which is people who are really good at being more political so that they can affect positive change in their life better. They like have more flexibility, they have more ability to communicate by just keeping their powder dry. The other quality that I've learned about over the last few years has been people who are really good at forgiveness. I've realized that some of the people that I've known are either really good at it or really bad at it. And it's made me, like, seeing it in action has made me want to be a more forgiving person. And, you know, it's made me aspire to want to hold grudges less and be more forgiving towards people. Unless they're that one guy who's making claims about AI. Joking. But yeah, like, people I've known in my life who are better at forgiving people, I've found that, like, makes me really value them as people more strongly, and it makes me want to adopt that as a characteristic more, you know? So there's all sorts of different dimensions that we can grow on, and I feel like not only am I trying to, like, grow on the ones that I know about, but I'm learning about new ones all the time. By the way, background artist at Ghibli used poster paint because it's way cheaper than gouache. Somehow they got an amazing gouache look. I don't even know what poster paint means. Is that a kind of acrylic? What is poster paint? Tempera. I know what I've heard of tempera. Again, as a digital artist, a lowly digital artist, I am fortunately very uncultured about these things. It's one of the reasons I want to, like, take time to experiment with it more. I need more hands-on time with some of these classical art making tools. Is there a video on the Ghibli gouache style? Well, I can tell you that the guy I'm going to be taking the gouache class with, Justin Donaldson, he has a course on painting background environments like the ones in those movies. And, you know, yeah, that looks really interesting. I mean, that's his style. It's, like, very similar to that kind of classic Ghibli look. So he teaches a course on it. I'm going to be taking the general gouache course with him. Probably in January. And then I'm going to be inviting people to come take the class along with me. It's a paid course. I use tempera. Tempera. That's like, is tempera made of eggs? Partially made of, like, egg whites? I know casein is, like, another paint that's sort of in the same sort of, like, vein, and it's made with like milk. It's made from, like, a milk byproduct, casein. Tempera is not gouache. Tempera in Latin America. Tempera is an emulsion of egg yolk and pigment. Sometimes they mix honey into it. Damn, sounds good. Yeah, casein's made with milk proteins. Yeah, okay. I know it's, like, made of milk, and that it was really popular in old, like, commercial art from a very particular, like, kind of Americana, like, 1950s Americana style. There was, like, a lot of pieces done in casein. And so, like, James Gurney talked about it a lot because it's sort of from the era that he has, like, really strong feelings on. And then him talking about it got a bunch of other artists to start making work in casein in the past, like, 10 years. That's my understanding, at least. James Gurney kicking off a brand new era of, like, love of casein paint. James Gurney can convince anyone damn near... well, James Gurney is a funny example nowadays because it's like he's gotten in trouble twice recently for, like, for various reasons. Like, he kind of lives in a lifestyle that's kind of isolated from the internet. So, like, he doesn't catch, like, the latest kind of internet trends. And so, like, he was getting yelled at because he was, like, painting like he lives in upstate New York, and so he's painting all these like old buildings around upstate New York, around the Hudson River Valley. And he was painting like a old police station. And so, you know, the cops came out to take a look at like, you know, what he was up to because they were curious. And so he took a photo with a cop with the painting, and people were like, you know, a cab. You know, they're like getting in his fucking Twitter, screaming at him that like all cops are bastards and that like he should apologize for taking a photograph of the police officer. And then later he was like getting yelled at again because he's like, damn, this AI stuff is producing some really interesting work. Like, just like totally off of Twitter, but like also still posting periodically. Like what I've been told is that he will like go to he doesn't have internet at home, so he like goes to the local library to post on his like blog and shit. And so he'll like just go post on his blog like it's fucking 2006, and he'll do it from like the public library. And so he doesn't see any discourse, and so he keeps like stumbling his way into these bits of discourse, these discourse landmines. You know, he's just out there trying to like make the world a little bit of a brighter place with art, and he just can't keep away from like getting in trouble with, you know, the current state of politics. And, you know, it's just like, you can't imagine a person with better intentions than someone like James Gurney, especially if you ever met him. He's a very authentic guy, very well-meaning, you know, very loving. And he's just getting like repeatedly stepped on over and over again by Twitter. It feels like it probably says more about Twitter than it does about James Gurney, honestly. But I don't know. I want to believe in like the goodness of people, and like to me, like a lot of what he does represents, you know, people who are well intentioned and want to see a bright, happy world where people get along. Oh boy, this you know, whatever I'm doing with this, the proportions on this shirt are just like wrong. Oh well, I'm just gonna bullshit my way through the rest of it. It looks like I'm back here bullshitting my way through the rest of it again. Let me just relocate this little patch of light. Whoopsie. And there it goes. I think Ghibli doc called The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness might cover it. Oh yeah, I don't think that's new. I think that's older. I think that documentary's from a few years back. I thought it was specifically about Miyazaki and not about Ghibli, but maybe I'm wrong. There's a few documentaries about both of them. There's also there's a movie that I can't remember the name of that I think I might have downloaded illegally a while back. That was the guy who did a lot of the iconic background painting for Studio Ghibli. His personal work is really surreal and interesting, and at some point I think they made a short film of his that is like really surreal and strange and really beautiful. I'm sure someone does anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about? I sure hope one of you guys can just link me to this. Romanas is the winner of the giveaway. Let's take a look. Friday giveaway. Congratulations, Romanas. All right. Congrats. Feel free, I've DM'd the winner. Feel free to DM me back, and I will get your shipping info so I can ship you your tablet. I'm going to buy it off of Amazon and have it shipped directly to you from Amazon. Do you know what I'm talking about with the Ghibli background painter who had a surrealist short film that was his own original sort of thing? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Damn. Am I too much of a hipster that like no one knows what I'm saying anymore? Not one iota. But that's the thing, like if I'm right, if I remembered this correctly, there's this beautiful, brilliant, special thing that like nobody knows exists. And it's just floating out there in the ether, waiting for somebody to like realize it's great and like discover it. Maybe someone should look into it. I know it's out there. It's like a background painter from Studio Ghibli. I'm almost certain they worked on The Cat Returns. And they created a short film that's like, it's this strange short film that's like really focused on environments. Background Ghibli artists drawing seascapes and teaching techniques to them. Wikipedia. Uh-oh, is this link gonna work? Kazuo Oga? It's not Puparia? No. They had these really surrealistic landscapes that were kind of done in this style with like this overwhelming floral theme. And it wasn't focused on characters at all. It was like all about environments. And it was this kind of surrealist floral environments. It's like pre-AI, but it's the same sort of like overwhelming, kind of repetitive, compulsive like look that you get out of like an AI thing. But it was like all this like passion project of this guy doing it all manually. I don't think it was this one. I don't think it was this guy. The Night of Japanese word. Try this one. Oh. No, I don't think it is. It was like almost totally surrealist. And like, I think there wasn't even a story. I think it was more like a slideshow of environments than anything else. You've seen the Dragon Ball Z fan-made short? I have, yes. I thought it was great. And then I talked to like DBZ fans and they hated it. My DBZ friends, they thought it was super lame because it wasn't, I guess it wasn't like on book enough or something. Didn't like the extra flair of style in it. I thought it was cool. Maybe that shows I'm not a real DBZ fan though. Which I wouldn't say I am, so it makes sense. Kazuo Oga has worked on some good stuff. Vampire D Bloodlust, Ninja Scroll, Princess Mononoke. Those are all good. The one where he turns into a tiger or whatever. It's tricky to create scale with environmental art. Yeah. Could it be Yoji Takashige? Ibar Jikin. That might. Why does that sound right? Why does that sound right? My wife is coming in. Wife is coming in here. Oh wait. Jikin is it. Jikin is it. No, it's this guy. It's Jikin. Okay. This is what I was thinking of. There's a short film by this guy, Iblar Jikin.
But it says this guy here. That's weird.
Is that the name? Is it Iblar Jikin the name of the thing, and that's the artist is a different name?
This is the name of the artist.
Inoue.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking of. This stuff is crazy. This is pre-AI, but it looks surrealist in sort of the same way. But it's like all... Is it early AI? Like, what's going on here? Oh, it was Whisper of the Heart, not Cat Returns. How did we get on this subject matter? Damn, this shit's cool. Need a microscope? Actually, you don't. I think one of the things that's really interesting about this is it's like this really high density of high contrast detail, but the details aren't that small. It's just like it's got this kind of pointillist finish to it, but it's actually very impressionistic. it's the like intense like variety of color packed into tiny areas, and the way that it's like all high contrast throughout that gives it this like overwhelming maximalist impression, but it's actually not like that detailed. It's called 1001 Nights. Let's see. Final Fantasy artist Yoshitaka Amano has an awesome silent film, 40 to 60 minutes. Yet Surreal Kincaid. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. The other Yoshitaka Amano joint that everyone needs to know about is Angel's Egg, which you can watch for free on YouTube. I'm not sure, but I thought Amano directed it, but maybe he was like a producer. Or something. Let's see. It is. Oh, written and directed. Yeah, Mamoru Oshii. A film is a collaboration between artist Yoshitaka Amano and Oshii. Okay, yeah. So he was a major collaborator in the film, but it's not only is it like a Yoshitaka Amano film where it's like his weird design sensibilities made into a short film, but also it is a major inspiration for a number of the Souls games. There's some really direct references to it, especially in like the final expansion for Dark Souls 3. But there's also moments in it that are like clearly drawn from for Bloodborne, and like the FromSoft games like are deeply, deeply inspired by this one sort of esoteric, you know, anime like OVA from, when was this? 1985. Alright, I'm not going to spoil it or whatever. It's a very, very slow-paced, very strange film. Really striking visually. Super interesting. I did a fan art of it once. Nobody liked it because nobody knows what it is. Check it out. It's an hour and 11 minutes. Atmospheric as fuck. Angel's Egg. Free on YouTube. No reason not to watch it this afternoon. Maybe enjoy it with the certain amount of enjoyment-enhancing stuff. Maybe get in the mood a little bit, if you know what I mean. Probably not a bad choice. Oh, you saw it on Angel's Egg? The Devil's Lettuce, yes. Not a bad idea for an afternoon. We get a little anime history in there. Angel's Egg, I think, is one of those things that like everyone should check out, not only because it's cool, but because it's like so often quoted from a lot of very popular stuff. So it's like a sort of thing that like, if you want to like sort of see the lineage of a lot of creative work, popular creative work, Angel's Egg is sort of essential watching to like check it out to see what other people are drawing from. Yeah, bring some Pepsi to enjoy along with the viewing of Angel's Egg. Some people like Pepsi. I know some people they don't like. They have you know, beliefs that prevent them from enjoying Pepsi. You know, so maybe a nice sparkling water, LaCroix, also very good. Everything's better with friends. That's true too. Force your friends to watch this hour-long, esoteric, slow-paced, atmospheric short film in Japanese. They will thank you for it. They will thank you for it by forcing you to buy the next round next time you go to the bar, because, yeah. Don't try to get your family or friends to watch this. You'll tell them, there's this guy on Twitch that told me to watch this. He says it's amazing. I know you like Dark Souls. You should check this out. And you will never hear the end of it. This is a warning. This movie is hipsters only. If you're a person of exceptional taste, you should watch Angel's Egg, and everybody else, stay out. Not for you. Only for the super good boys and girls who have great taste. Never expose your power level like that. Excellent. Excellent take. Make them think that you're really into all the normie stuff, and then quietly sneak back to your place and watch Angel's Egg alone in the dark. No way I'm getting my wife to watch it. Don't let her know. You can't let her know these kind of things about you. It's private time. She's going to be like, babe, what's wrong? You've barely touched your mac and cheese. And you're going to be lost in the like dark atmospheric abyss of Angel's Egg. And you'll be like, no, I'm just thinking about sports. Any tips on drawing backgrounds? From me, the guy who just drew this? No. I'm going to go study backgrounds next. I don't know. I'd say make the background look good. Like, make the character look better. If you can. I was thinking like, oh, I'm almost done, and also I'm over on time. Because I've been fucking around a lot this stream. But then I just zoomed out and looked at my own piece, and I'm like, ooh, am I really almost done? Question mark using the low flow. Does spacing affect it? Size of the canvas? Yes and no, respectively. Spacing absolutely affects it. The nature of it is that it measures the flow like on a sort of per stamp basis. So the spacing of the individual brush stamps matters a lot. So like the closer the spacing, the lower the flow you need to put down. And then when it comes to canvas size, no, it doesn't. It doesn't affect it. She knows I'm a weeb, but this will just get more ridiculed. Yeah, like if you start getting into artsy weeb stuff, you're really opening yourself up. You don't need that kind of exposure. You don't want to be sitting around one day and be like, you know what I really like, guys, is subtitles. I'll just keep it inside. Little just for me. That's right. I had a... So this overlaps with a piece of advice I like to give. A lot of people think they have these things that go through their imagination and they go, damn, I got to draw this. This is my thing. This is the thing that's going to make me famous. This is what everyone's got. They see these beautiful images in their head and they say, if I could only share this with the world, then people would understand me and I would feel loved and people would appreciate me creatively. Nah. Those images in your head are just for you. It's the images on the canvas that you share with people. Let the images in your head just be for you. Don't get caught. Don't get caught in them. I find myself being inspired by Japanese art a lot because they're so good at what they do and they don't want to just copy them because that's just derivative. Now, the solution to that is just copy them. Copy everything that you like. The reality is that you don't just like Japanese stuff. I love Japanese stuff, but I don't just love Japanese stuff. So the mixture of my love of Japanese stuff along with my love of other things ends up producing a thing which is unique and different and seen through my own lens from all the other stuff and from like the Japanese stuff I like. If you try to deny your inspirations, you will end up with something that looks like the inspiration anyway, but worse. The trick is to steal really, really directly, but steal often. It will accumulate into a soup, which is ultimately more original than what you could plan if you were to try to do it, you know. Because it's not really like, you don't get to plan what you like. You know, the point is that you're never going to get to plan whether or not you actually like something. You only get to choose whether or not you're going to express it. So I say express it. Express your sense of taste. Put it all on the canvas and then see what people think. Doing studies allow you to find the thing that you like about something else and learn to apply it to your own style. Eventually it becomes something entirely your own. That's right. Summer's got it. She knows what's up. Sometimes you got a thought, yeah. You've been around once or twice. You know what's up. Okay, what do I want to do to wrap this thing up? I'm over on time. I've touched about every inch of it. The background feels so rough. Like, this is one of the problems with doing something that's kind of, you know, reflective of the background. Also, you know, I was really, really loose with the face. And I think perhaps I might want to tighten down the face a little bit. I haven't been particularly careful on any inch of this. It's really very loose overall. But my instinct is to actually to just like add in some smudges and to like texture up the background a little bit and kind of call it a day. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to like tighten up the face a little bit first before I get into that. Just spend a minute or two on this. Raid candidate looks like Anya follows him already. Sims Art. Hey Anya, who's Sims Art? She's left the other room. Severa Rain, hello. The cat guy. Cat guy. Yeah, there's the name rings a bell. I'm just spacing right now. trying to think about my own art for just my own painting for just a second here. Oh, I'm so distracted today, and now I'm like feeling like I didn't put my all into this study, and I'm so burnt from working hard this week. I worked so hard this week, you guys. Any weekend. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm ready for it. Ghosted Cat and Witches. Oh, I was just looking at his work on Twitter the other day. And I was like, damn, this guy's on Twitch? Guy's work fucking rules. Or is it a girl? Did I finish The Lover? I did not. I'll finish The Lover before I leave for Lightbox, but I'm not going to do it on air. Yes, I was just looking at Sims's art the other day. I don't know anything about them. That'd be great to raid them. I think I just started following them on Twitter like yesterday. Oh my god. The proportion of this guy's face is so wrong. I didn't start with any amount of diligence on getting like the structure right. I was like, it's small in the frame. I don't need to worry about it. And now I'm worrying about it. It's so janky. Oh no. The jankiness is off the charts. I feel like I should liquefy it, but actually I'm going to try to do a little bit of like... I'm gonna do a little bit of transform a couple of patches and see if I can get closer. And de-jank it just a little bit. Just a little bit. So I don't feel ashamed about where I've left it. And I just hope Sims will keep streaming. Aaron Blaze is in my recommended, yeah. Aaron Blaze is like a legend also. He's I think we rated him before. I don't think he noticed though. I don't think he's like paying attention to his chat. Or at least he wasn't last time we were in there. Is it Blaze? Is it Blase? I guess I don't know him that well to know. Usually his mods are totally on top of responses. Oh yeah, it's like... Yeah, he was in the middle of getting a question, I think, from one of his mods or something when we walked in last time. I think I can clean up a couple of details and salvage this at the last second before I log out. That's where I'm headed with it. That's where I'm trying to head with it. Pray for me. Nubovich is looking pretty sweet. That name also rings a bell. There's so many subtleties in the color and shadow on this guy that I think are actually really interesting that I feel like I only brushed up against without actually digging into, which is a shame. Cool reference. Great photo. And then I was just distracted today, and I took my eye off the ball. I am getting increasingly critical of my studies, though. So I'm going to do a little bit of finishing detail, and then I'm going to call this one done. Hurrah! Yes. Now you celebrate me. I want to thank you very much for the drawing tablet. Yes, I'm glad you appreciate it. That's great. I'm very happy. Like, the number one thing I want out of these giveaways is to find people who really want one of these tablets. Like, our hope with every single one of these is that they find their way into a good home, and that you know, you can make some great use out of it. So you know, thanks very much for letting me know. I'm really happy to hear that. And I'm gonna, as soon as I log out of the stream, I'm gonna collect your info. Or if you want to, you can get proactive about it. Send me your name, your mailing address, phone number, and email. I'm going to punch that into Amazon, and I'm going to order a tablet and have it shipped directly to you today. So just adding a little bit of, you know, harder edges and softer edges mixed in sort of an aesthetic measure is all I feel like I really need in order to feel something that's like a suggestion of a background without actually even referencing the background. You can notice I'm not even like zooming out on this. I kind of don't even want to be influenced by the actual background that's there. I really just want to like see if I can create a general like texture that feels spacious, and think more about the way in which the marks are kind of spaced from each other and like what the rhythm of the whole thing is. And there we go. That's all I wanted to do today. Oh boy, there's some opportunities to make some interesting color accents in here that I feel like I'm kind of skipping on, and I feel a little bit bad about it. But I also am like 20 minutes over on time, and I don't want to like spend all day on this. I've got a lot of juggling to do. Purple and orange as accents feel like a fun addition. So I'm just gonna brush a couple of these in really quick. Give a little sense of the light kind of scattering and fragmenting a bit. Blend over some of this blue. Okay, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Have a great hiatus. Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to be gone for that long. Most of the hiatus is going to come from the fact that I'm traveling. But if any of you guys are in the LA area and you want to come see me, I'll be at the Pasadena Convention Center on the 27th, 28th, and 29th at Lightbox Expo. And yeah, I'm in the back corner, what I'm calling the bad boys corner. And I'll be there hanging out, signing stuff, selling stuff, talking to people. You don't need to buy anything to have a conversation, so come by and say hi. If you're a Huckleberry member, we need to maybe invent a Huckleberry handshake so that we see each other in person. You know, we know how to do the proper greeting. I haven't invented one yet, but we could invent one together. If you want to come by and like figure it out. All right, and with that, I think we are going to watch Nanoist me on Twitch, Vampire Nox Network. Nubovich, Simsart. Pull this up. Turn off the music. Mute the ad. Set up the raid. Raid. Simsart. Yeah. There we go. Thanks everyone for joining me today. I'll see you all when I get back from my hiatus. And in the meantime, be good. Goodbye.